So what comes to your mind when you think about the Real Housewives of Lagos? Honestly, you think drama, you think beautiful dresses, beautiful women, definitely. But then let's go back to the drama, right? Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation was because I wanted to show you that, to be honest, while there might be a lot of drama, there's so much more to these women than what you find on your screens. Now, we saw the reunion. We all enjoyed it. The Real Housewives of Lagos, Season 2. The reunion aired the 27th of March. Of course, media personality Latasha Ngube, the first woman ever to host the Real Housewives reunion in Africa, took the reins as she hosted, taking a deep dive into all the juicy gossip from Season 2. If you've never caught the trailer, if you haven't watched it, we're going to try to give you our own, little preamble as to everything that happened, but take a look at the trailer.
Welcome to the reunion.
Guess what? I bought a dog.
What is your dog's name?
Perion, like Dom Perion.
Okay,
Taya's
go back.
brother.
Some of our ladies are not available tonight. There's no excuse that they're not here.
It's with a heavy heart. I couldn't make it to the reunion.
You know Tanya, she gossips a lot.
Hi, Dr. Ramo.
I don't want anything to do with it. This was gonna happen.
You say I lied.
I misspoke. Not really. She's crazy.
Joining me on the show right now, Faith Morey. Why are you laughing?
Girl, like being there,
Yeah.
we literally were there on a Monday, call time 3 p.m. And what you saw, we wrapped up around Tuesday, 6 a.m.
Wow.
I know.
How, I have to give it to the producers though, because they definitely do a great job in piecing together the most interesting bits, but that's as a viewer.
Yeah.
For you who was there, how did you analyze, or how did you perceive the editing? What was seen and what was shown to the rest of the world?
Obviously, like I said, we shot for over 10 hours, or we're there over 10 hours. We all know it's a variety show, 45 minutes. There's no way everything can fit in. When I was watching it, I was like, why didn't you put this? Why didn't you put that? I'm sure other people had the same, but I guess they wanted to be able to take as much as they can the questions that were being asked by the viewers. And I was excited some of those questions were being addressed.
I'm happy as well.
One of them was, how I felt why Miss Iyabo stepped on my dress.
Yes.
Another when she came to my face, And what you guys did not see is that lady made my life for 6 months and my team miserable for 6 months. She ride around other housewives to make sure they don't shoot with me. Now, in the Real Housewife of Lagos or any Real Housewife franchise, when no housewife refuses to shoot with you, they kill out your character.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. And people got to see the flashback, yes. When Tiana when Tiana was trying to talk to me, and I was very specific. I'm not apologizing for standing up to myself. I'm only apologizing for going too far with the other housewife, because I do understand how much money it is to bring something like this together. Now, what you didn't see also was Miss Mariam.
Yeah.
She slut-shamed me for 1 hour. She kept going, you're a slut, I got your street records.
Street records, we're going to hear a lot of that.
Any Nigerian, you tell that, they are shivering. Because I know who I am. So it was almost like I gave her 30 minutes. I was like, okay, fine. Girl, can you call the name so we can go sleep? Go back to where you're coming from,
I saw that.
So during the reunion, what you guys did not see was she apologizing that she called 3 names. They were not names of men.
Okay.
Yes, they were names of people.
Yes.
Of places where girls go to look for white boyfriends. And then I asked, have you seen me there? Have you heard? She said, no. I was just angry you called me, a married woman, a public toilet. So I say, for the record, I've been divorced for 8 years, single for 8 years.
Yeah.
You don't know any record about me. You want to really know, which I understand, because as a pretty girl, my stuff should be everywhere.
Yeah.
And the reason the other housewives said it was, I can't figure you out. And I told them on the show, I said, go read a book. You want to read me? Read a book. You're supposed to be smart, right?
But what do you think it is, Faith? Because at the end of the day, I would say that, that's why I started by saying what we get to see on the show, there's so much more to every single person. What is this? And we saw the same pattern in season 1. What is this desire to slut shame women? To make it look like you might be all of this, but you are dating this person or you're dating that person. Why? We saw that trend in season 1 when with Caroline and Laura, which I'm so certain was probably one of the biggest arguments, where they said, oh, Laura went to go sell her books, but then she wasn't selling her books, she was doing something else. We saw that again where Chioma and Miriam were having arguments, and Miriam made reference to the fact that Chioma has no kids. We saw that again with the public toilet conversation, and then with the, okay, name. And then in my head, I'm just like, what is going on with that aspect?
I feel like when people who are ordinary see extraordinary people, the first thing they try to do is give you an excuse why you are extraordinary. Now, when a girl, anyone who sees you or me, we're tall, we're pretty, there's more to us than just our physical appearance.
Yeah.
You have achieved what you've achieved. The first thing a woman will say, well, if you didn't know this person, it's a way
I had
of
$1 for every time I heard that, though.
Do you understand? So it's a way of them, patting themselves in the back, like making themselves look like they're the victims. Now, for the slut shaming issue, first of all, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm so proud of Caroline, Laura, and Tiana.
Yeah,
they were able to trash things off, which was also the same thing. People were telling her certain things that got her very upset to go ahead to try to shake the things up. Now, I said that on the last day of the shoot in Salt Beach, and you guys were not able to see that part. When Chioma asked Mariam, can you apologize to Faith the same way you apologized to me? And Mariam said no. Now, she gave an excuse saying she was trying to defend me, but in the reunion, she was trying to defend Laura.
Yeah.
Now, what you guys didn't see was I asked Chioma, I said, you're very intelligent. When I mean intelligent, it doesn't have to be book smart. It could be maybe someone who's manipulative, someone who can be able to coerce people into doing things they're not supposed to do. She's very smart. She would do behind the scenes just like you saw on the show, and then the other ladies will be the one to take the fall.
Yeah.
Okay? So I asked them, I said, okay, without looking, what's the color of the TV frame? Black. It was white. So I asked her, I said, when all those incidents happened in Ekpe, what you guys still didn't see was we're done watching the show, Miss Yabo's movie. She asked me how was it, and I said, as a mom, I can relate because I would do anything for my child. We had games, and then in the middle of the game, she just hits, bam, you're fake, you're too fake, and Mariam stood up, I was like, oh, thank God, blah, blah, blah. I said, what is your problem? We were going at it for a little while. I like my champagne and I will watch you to be a fool. I'm not going to go around in the pig, mud with you.
Yeah.
And I finally I said, okay. And she said, I will woes you slap. The reason why most of the castmates are upset is because there were more things that were done by these ladies. Now, I applaud the producers of the show because obviously they know why we are on TV is to actually launch our businesses, is for us to see these are real life. And she is so good, a producer, that she wants to see the best in all of us.
Yeah.
So when people say, is this scripted? I said, darling, you think the unseen footage is bad?
Which do you see? But then, what could be worse than that, though? What could be worse? This very scene, for instance, I thought this... again, Faith, I feel like there's something you're not telling me. Because again, if you think about it, right, this particular language barrier scenario, I've never seen, I just thought you were just being honest and vulnerable.
I was honest and vulnerable, but
why did it come off as how can you say you cannot speak your language?
You have to remember, this is 3 months on set, 10 hours a day, sometimes 4 to 5.
Yeah.
So they have looked for everything to use. Your Honorable Linus has said I try to attack his family because Nigerians. Nigerians take family seriously. They have tried to use this fake. Oh, Faith, thinking I'll come in to rent cars that are equal to what I own in the U.S. Claim I bought home instead of renting home, and when that doesn't that was the whole plan. So when you've tried, what happens when you go behind doors and try to plot against someone? You never know how the person is going to react.
Exactly.
I think they were calculating on me being very defensive, going back and forth like they were, and they didn't know what to do with me. When, eventually, the only time I lost my cool, people didn't get to see, was when Iyabo told me she was going to woes me slap.
Yeah.
And guess what? I stood up and went to her, and I told my private security, please go back. I told her friend, Miss Chioma, please do not touch her, because I don't want to hear tomorrow. If not for this, I would. So I said, if them born you well, you have father and mother, touch me. All you have to do, just little, and then you will see. And then she started speaking Yoruba, and I said, less talking, more doing. and English, please. She couldn't. When she was going on Yoruba, that's when I said, this party is boring anyway, and I walked out with my champagne. That was 2 hours before you saw that. You know, that was 2 hours of, you know, the other ladies going, making sly comments, smiling. And for me, because I know who I am.
You keep saying that.
I have big plans for myself and my future and people who are around me. I know I am a representative of my team. When I decided to do this show, I knew the platform I was going to be given.
And you knew the drama that it was going to come with.
It was going to come with. So I knew that, Faith, no matter what happens, don't forget. My manager will tell you, at some point I said, I don't want any deal less than 10 million naira. I want to be called in the midst of politicians, wives, who, corporate reusable energy. I'm also a consultant.
Yeah.
I own a charity organization called
For
Charity.
Okachi.
You know, I work hand in hand with a couple of the government officials right now. Imagine if I was on the show acting a fool. Will anybody want to work with me? So I have to remember, I left my home, which is California, for 6 months to shoot this, to do all this, morning till night. Ekpe actually ended shooting at 6 a.m. in the morning. We started at 3 p.m.
So there's a goal for you. But then I noticed that in everything you say, you still say Miss Iyabo, Miss Chioma, which means that to an extent, you do have respect for these women. Despite everything that has happened, despite everything you've had to endure, you still have a lot of respect for them, don't you?
Well, yeah, family values. That's the way I was raised. My Uncle Chioma is 2 years older than me, but I still have to call him Uncle Chioma because that's the way I was raised, you know. So for me, imagine being exactly like the person that is interrogating your life, making you miserable.
Yeah.
What's going to change? The only reason Nigerians can see what's going on is because I was different. And I had to tell people. And before now, people thought toxic was what's going to give you TV shows, was going to give you followers in this. I knew I was going to be the change. And for me to do that, I have to remember we are role models. And I said it numerous times on the show, but people didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
During my interview, I said, if these are the ladies that are the role models for our country is in trouble.
Do you think Miss Iyabo, as you call her, is a bully? That's been a conversation that's been on social media a lot. And people asking, especially after the unseen footage, do you think that she's a bully? According to what social media has basically tagged a lot of behavioral patterns.
Well, social media didn't need to say anything. She said it on her confessional.
She did.
She did.
But
and
do you think
the only reason she's upset is because they showed that part. That's the reason why she didn't show up for the reunion. Most of them did not because they weren't planning to see the way, you know, I feel like I'm not the viewer. I was with her. I'm not bullyable. You cannot bully me. The fact that I'm quiet doesn't mean that you're getting your way. Like I said, it's like walking on the street and seeing a madman tell you a mad woman, and then you start fighting with a madman. What's the difference between the both of you?
Now, based on how the reunion panned out, Tanya wasn't there, Chioma wasn't there, Iyabo wasn't there. Obviously, we know why Tiana couldn't make it. She sent in that video.
Yeah.
But getting all dressed up, getting ready, you know, putting all that effort to come there and for the number of hours that you shot, did you find it a tad bit disrespectful that they didn't show up?
I was going to be shocked if they did, to be honest, because people like them will run away when it's time for accountability, which I said on the show. You know, I wasn't supposed to be on the show, like for the reunion, but I literally got my ticket 2 a.m. and I was on the airport by 4 a.m., which most of you saw me bumping into Laura and everything.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to look at Laura. Laura had a baby less than a month. And she was there. You know, they have tried to do PRs, you know, come up with these different stories. Oh, it must have happened in the US where camera wasn't showing this, and the people weren't buying it. They wanted the reunion to be a couple of months away from the whole thing because then they felt people are going to forget. Honey, people are not going to forget because you were supposed to stand for the vulnerable. You're supposed to be an advocate. You have this whole name as a queen mom. My grandma was called Big Mama because she was a mother of all. And that's the reason why I'm doing my charity. I used to tell people that your legacy is not when you're alive, it's when you're gone. What people say about you. Not the ones that are saying it in front of you to buy favors or to get something from you, you know, to call your name singing. No. Are those ones that don't have cell phones? Will they remember you?
That's the most important thing.
Yes.
Are you going to return for season 3 if given the opportunity?
Well, I have a lot of things I'm working on. Like I said, all through last year, I was working on my NGO for Charity Okochi, which was in honor of my grandma that taught for 30 plus years. And I was supposed to have solar panels installed in the school in her honor. And when I went to the school, you know, you guys can see the pictures on, there was more to be done. Kids were walking 10, 15 minutes away without shoes. Some of them had rubber bands to hold their uniform. Some of them would go to school half the year and cannot pay exam fees. So all they did for 6 months was in vain. You know, most of the teachers also, like a school of, I think Sangana has about 200 something kids and just 4 teachers. So we were able to like help with volunteers, you know, ask teachers to give them, I think we gave them 6 more teachers. Port Harcourt Primary, which was my first public school. I was born in the North, grew up a little bit of my life till 7 in Lagos, and then when my mom and dad separated, I went to Port Harcourt. Oromineke Girls, that's a girls' college. We decided to also help, you know, because without education, I don't think I will be here today. You know, people say, you know, what can I do to make a difference? Don't give people the fish. Teach them how to fish. Because when your own pond dries, you can actually meet them. But if you don't teach them, how they're going to be able to do anything? You know, so just seeing the joy in these kids' faces or providing playgrounds, you know, those are the things that we're having good.
Just talking about it, right? I mean, I think I understand that feeling. Like that's the feeling that you get when you know that you're doing something that's beyond you. I keep saying that it's not about, I mean, buying things feels good all the time, but when you're able to put a smile on a person's face, just for doing the smallest thing, it's the most fulfilling thing in the world. And I'm sure a lot of people watching the interview are probably thinking, oh, okay, you know what? Why am I not going hard at Faith today? Because we've had this conversation before. You know, I've interviewed you on this same show just a couple of weeks back, and you poured out your heart. And I have to say this, a big shout out to you.
Thank you.
Big shout out to Laura as well. Ironically, both of you are the most vocal about everything that has happened on the show, and the easiest to talk about with these things. So, I mean, it is what it is, Faith. The reality is people are going to think whatever they want to think of you. I remember there was a particular video, part of our interview trended on TikTok, where people were trying to decipher whether or not you could speak Pidgin.
I can.
Exactly, you literally said that.
I said that. And a couple of weeks before then in Port Harcourt, I told him, I said, you know what? Let's hit it home. Like people don't remember that. Like if I'm in the UK and I'm surrounded by people, like my son, he was in the UK for a little while. When I speak to him, you tend to blend towards that. In the US, if I'm like talking to you right now, you have the intonation of an American. So it's easy for me to like entwine with you. But if I'm talking to someone like my driver or something, I can bust Pidgin, like literally like, I'll go waiting the apple now. You know, like I can go that deep in it. And I'm well-rounded. That's why I said people always have me in this little box that when they get to meet me, it's like, we don't know what to do with her.
You know what I think, Faith? It's not going to stop.
You know, it's not.
I think that you better start getting used to it, because if you do return for season 3, it's going to just be a new set of issues and a new set of things that we do not like about Faith. So well done on a successful season. Thank you for, I mean, you were one of the new queens, right?
Yes.
And you stood out just as much as your huge wine glass stood out as well.
Yes.
So it was great having you on the show, and great job on what you're doing with your foundation as well. Great job on that.
And please, guys, don't forget, you don't have to donate millions of nairas or dollars. You can literally just decide, I want to pay school fees for this one person, which is nothing more than 20K. And you can go directly to the school. We made sure that you don't have to come through us, because most people will be going, oh, the money, we're going to, no. You can go through the school. Underneath the post for Okochi Foundation, you have the school and the principal's number and name.
Addresses and all of that.
Yeah, so you can go down there. You don't have to tell me like, Faith, no. You know,
do you? This is why you came on the show at the end of the day, because you needed this platform. So well done again to you. Let's take a break. That was Faith Morey. Obviously, like she's rightly said, she's beyond a cast member on the Real Housewives of Lagos. She has a foundation. She is an entrepreneur. So the sooner we start to get that, the better.